Rastafarians view Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia as a divine figure, often revering him as the returned Messiah or even a living God. This perception is deeply rooted in the Rastafarian faith and plays a central role in their spiritual beliefs and practices. The reverence for Haile Selassie is not just a historical or cultural phenomenon, but is intertwined with the religious identity of the Rastafarian community. The belief in Haile Selassie's divinity stems from several key factors, primarily linked to his lineage and the prophecies of his rule. Many Rastafarians believe that Haile Selassie is a direct descendant of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, making him a part of the Solomonic dynasty. This lineage is significant as it connects him to biblical prophecies and the Judaic tradition, which are important elements of Rastafarian theology. Another critical factor is Haile Selassie's role in fulfilling certain prophecies that Rastafarians interpret as signs of his divine nature. One of these prophecies is derived from the Bible, particularly the Book of Revelation, which some Rastafarians interpret as foretelling the coming of a black king from Africa who would be a redeemer for people of African descent. Haile Selassie's coronation as Emperor of Ethiopia in 1930, where he took the titles King of Kings and Lord of Lords, was seen as a fulfillment of these prophecies. Haile Selassie's influence extended beyond religious symbolism, as he was also a prominent figure in the Pan-African movement and a symbol of African unity and pride. His leadership and advocacy for the independence of African nations resonated with the Rastafarian community, which views Ethiopia as a symbol of resistance against colonialism and oppression. This political and cultural significance further solidified Haile Selassie's status as a revered figure within the faith. The reverence for Haile Selassie and Rastafarianism illustrates the complex interplay of religion, history, and cultural identity. His legacy continues to be a source of inspiration and spiritual guidance for Rastafarians around the world, reflecting a broader narrative of liberation and self-determination. This belief in Haile Selassie's divinity is a defining characteristic of the Rastafarian faith, underscoring its unique interpretation of biblical prophecies and its deep roots in African heritage. The foundation of Rastafarianism is closely tied to the fulfillment of prophecy, a central element that shaped the movement's early development. Originating in Jamaica in the early 20th century, Rastafarianism was significantly influenced by the teachings of Marcus Garvey, a prominent black nationalist leader. Garvey's message of African pride and unity resonated deeply with the oppressed black population in Jamaica, inspiring a spiritual awakening and a search for identity and liberation. A pivotal aspect of Garvey's teachings was his prophecy about the rise of a black king in Africa who would symbolize liberation and empowerment for black people worldwide. This prophecy became a cornerstone of Rastafarian belief, with followers eagerly awaiting its fulfillment as a sign of divine intervention and hope for a brighter future. The prophecy not only provided a spiritual foundation, but also instilled a sense of anticipation and purpose within the nascent Rastafarian community. In 1930, when Rastafari Makonnen was crowned Emperor of Ethiopia, taking the name Haile Selassie I, many Rastafarians interpreted this event as the realization of Garvey's prophecy. The coronation was seen as a monumental and symbolic occurrence, affirming the Rastafarian belief in the divine nature of Haile Selassie. His titles, King of Kings and Lord of Lords, resonated with the prophecies, further cementing his status as a messianic figure within the Rastafarian faith. The identification of Haile Selassie as the prophesied king transformed Rastafarianism from a socio-political movement into a religious one, with Haile Selassie at its spiritual center. His rule in Ethiopia, a country with a rich biblical heritage, reinforced his perceived role as a divine figure, connecting the Rastafarian faith with ancient traditions and scriptures. This belief system provided a powerful narrative of redemption and identity for followers, who saw themselves as part of a divine plan. The prophecy and its fulfillment remain a vital aspect of Rastafarian theology and continue to influence the movement's beliefs and practices. The recognition of Haile Selassie as a divine figure highlights the importance of prophecy in shaping Rastafarian identity and worldview, offering a unique perspective on history and spirituality. This belief underscores the movement's emphasis on liberation, justice, and the reclaiming of African heritage. Rastafarians interpret specific passages in the Bible as prophetic references to Haile Selassie's divinity. This biblical interpretation is a cornerstone of their belief system, linking their faith directly to scripture and providing a spiritual foundation for their reverence of Haile Selassie. The use of biblical texts gives their beliefs a sense of historical and religious legitimacy, intertwining their modern spiritual identity with ancient traditions. One of the key scriptures often cited by Rastafarians is Psalm 87 verse 4, which they interpret as a prophecy referring to the greatness of Ethiopia, and by extension, Haile Selassie. This verse mentions Ethiopia among the nations that acknowledge the greatness of God, which Rastafarians believe aligns with Haile Selassie's role as a spiritual leader and divine figure. This interpretation is part of a broader belief in Ethiopia's special status in God's plan, as seen through the lens of Rastafarian theology. Another significant biblical reference is Revelation 5 verse 5, where the Lion of Judah is mentioned. Rastafarians identify Haile Selassie with this title, as he traced his lineage to the tribe of Judah and incorporated the title Lion of Judah into his imperial identity. For Rastafarians, this link is not just symbolic, but is seen as a confirmation of Haile Selassie's divine role, fulfilling the biblical prophecy of a messianic figure emerging from this lineage. These interpretations are integral to the Rastafarian worldview, reinforcing the belief that Haile Selassie's life and reign were foretold in the Bible. This approach to scripture provides a framework for understanding the world and their place in it, anchoring their spiritual beliefs in a tradition that spans both time and geography. It underscores the deep connection Rastafarians feel with biblical history and their identification with the prophetic tradition that elevates Haile Selassie to a divine status. Ethiopia occupies a unique and symbolic role in Rastafarian belief, representing a powerful emblem of resistance against colonialism. This significance is rooted in Ethiopia's historical resilience and sovereignty, as it remained uncolonized during the age of European imperialism, with the exception of a brief occupation by Italy. This distinction set Ethiopia apart in the eyes of the Rastafarian community, who viewed it as a beacon of African pride and independence. The ancient Christian tradition in Ethiopia further enhances its importance within Rastafarianism. Ethiopia's history is intertwined with Christianity, boasting one of the oldest Christian communities in the world and a tradition of Christian kingship. This deep-rooted Christian heritage resonates with Rastafarians, who often draw connections between Ethiopian traditions and biblical narratives. This link adds a spiritual dimension to the country's significance, framing Ethiopia not just as a political symbol but also as a holy land. Haile Selassie I's rule is seen as a continuation of this ancient Christian kingship, providing a living connection to Ethiopia's storied past. His reign symbolized a bridge between the biblical and the modern, reinforcing the belief that Ethiopia was a chosen land with a divine purpose. For Rastafarians, Haile Selassie's leadership was not just a political event but a fulfillment of spiritual prophecy, solidifying Ethiopia's place in their religious worldview. The symbolic importance of Ethiopia extends beyond its historical and religious aspects. It also serves as a cultural and ideological touchstone for the Rastafarian community, representing an ideal of unity and resistance against oppression. Ethiopia is often envisioned as a spiritual homeland, a place of refuge and renewal for people of African descent who have faced centuries of displacement and diaspora. This vision of Ethiopia as a promised land offers a counter-narrative to the history of colonialism and slavery, providing a source of hope and inspiration. In Rastafarianism, Ethiopia embodies a complex tapestry of resistance, spirituality, and cultural pride. It is celebrated not only for its historical achievements and religious significance, but also for what it represents in the collective imagination of the Rastafarian faith. This symbolic importance continues to resonate with Rastafarians today, who see in Ethiopia a timeless symbol of resilience, identity, and divine purpose. Haile Selassie holds significant cultural and historical importance, both within the Rastafarian faith and globally. As the Emperor of Ethiopia, he was widely recognized as a modernizer who played a pivotal role in advancing his nation's infrastructure, education, and governance. His efforts to modernize Ethiopia were seen as part of a broader vision to uplift the country and its people, which resonated deeply with Rastafarians who viewed him as a transformative figure. Beyond Ethiopia, Haile Selassie was a prominent advocate for African unity and independence. He was a founding member of the Organization of African Unity, OAU, which sought to promote solidarity among African nations and support the decolonization process across the continent. His leadership in these efforts earned him great respect and admiration, positioning him as a symbol of Pan-Africanism and a champion for the rights and dignity of African people. Haile Selassie's international presence further solidified his status as a figure of both spiritual and political significance among Rastafarians. His speeches and diplomatic engagements on the world stage were seen as evidence of his wisdom and authority, reinforcing the belief that he was a divinely appointed leader. Rastafarians viewed his global recognition as validation of their faith in his divine mission and as a sign of his exceptional character and purpose. The respect Haile Selassie commanded globally also underscored his role as a bridge between the spiritual and the temporal. For Rastafarians, his ability to influence and engage with world leaders and institutions was seen as a testament to his unique position as a leader chosen by God. This perception of Haile Selassie as a divine figure extended beyond his political achievements, encompassing a broader understanding of his spiritual significance in the modern world. Overall, Haile Selassie's cultural and historical significance is multifaceted, encompassing his contributions to Ethiopian development, his leadership in the Pan-African movement, and his influence on the global stage. For Rastafarians, he represents a powerful symbol of spiritual authority, political leadership, and cultural pride, embodying ideals of unity, resilience, and divine purpose. His legacy continues to inspire and guide the Rastafarian community, affirming the enduring relevance of his life and work. Haile Selassie's role as a modernizer and a champion of African unity also adds to his significance. His leadership not only symbolized resistance against colonialism but also embodied ideals of liberation, pride, and dignity for people of African descent. This spiritual and political legacy makes Haile Selassie a central figure in the Rastafarian worldview, representing hope, strength, and a divine purpose. In this video, we've explored the profound reasons why Rastafarians worship Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia. As a revered figure in the Rastafarian faith, Haile Selassie is seen as a divine leader, often regarded as the returned Messiah or even a living God. This belief is deeply rooted in prophecies and his connection to biblical traditions, which resonate powerfully within the Rastafarian community. We hope this video has given you a deeper understanding of the unique and profound reasons behind the veneration of Haile Selassie in Rastafarianism. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content on fascinating cultural and religious topics. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.